Jungkook cuts 1 point from Jimin. Is there a serious problem behind the 94-foot? The mystery score that shook ARMY, ignited rumors, and raised troubling questions about the duo's dynamic asterisk. What if a single number, just 2 digits uttered casually and almost too quickly, could unravel years of public harmony, spark global speculation, and pull millions of fans into a whirlwind of emotional chaos? Why would Jungkook, the golden magne known for his unwavering praise of Jimin, suddenly hold back and drop a mysterious 94 instead of a perfect score? And what exactly was that little thing he didn't like? That is the question that has ignited one of the most intense storms in BTS discourse since Jimin accidentally detonated the comeback timeline on Japanese soil. For weeks, the entertainment world has been spinning from Jimin's unexpected album reveal in a minimalist Tokyo studio, a reveal that shoved American networks into panic mode, triggered a late-night bidding war, and pushed Jimmy Fallon into a beautifully desperate plea: don't announce it anywhere else first. But just as the dust was beginning to settle from that international media skirmish, another spark flickered, quieter, softer, but somehow far more personal. A spark that came not from Fallon, not from HYB, not from global networks, but from within BTS themselves, a spark named 94. Because when Jungkook, smiling yet strangely thoughtful, rated Jimin's latest moment with that peculiar number, ARMY didn't just see a score. They saw a crack, a clue, a signal, intentional or not, that something behind the scenes was shifting. What could make Jungkook, who has historically worshipped Jimin's voice, dance, discipline, and personality, suddenly pinch off a single point? Why would the member who defends Jimin like a reflex hesitate in public? And why did his tone sound conflicted? From the moment the clip began circulating, fans froze the frame. Analysts replayed his expression second by second like forensic specialists studying a diplomatic slip. Was Jungkook joking? Was he teasing? Or did he mean it when he said there was a tiny thing he didn't like? The word tiny didn't soften the blow. It sharpened it. Because tiny things in BTS history have always been the most meaningful. A missed glance, a tightened jaw, a number that doesn't reach 100, and soon, the question magnified into a global obsession. Is something happening between Jungkook and Jimin that the public isn't seeing? The timing made everything worse. Jimin had just thrown the industry into chaos with his unexpected album spoiler. Jimmy Fallon had begged for exclusive rights. American networks were fighting for the first comeback appearance. Meanwhile, HYB was scrambling internally to manage the explosion. And right in the middle of that media earthquake, Jungkook added his own micro-shockwave that sent the fandom spiraling into a different battlefield, one not between networks, but between interpretations of the relationship between 2 of BTS's closest members. Some fans insisted the score was innocent, a playful jab between brothers. Others argued the opposite. Why would Jungkook pick 94, not something round? Why mention a flaw at all during a moment meant to praise? Why now, of all times, when Jimin is carrying the comeback spotlight? Was Jungkook sending him a message? Was this his way of expressing concern? Or was it frustration, a quiet protest against Jimin's habit of dropping explosive information without warning? Because behind closed doors, the Tokyo moment has not been quiet. Sources claim HYB was torn between panic and delight, that executives were split on whether Jimin's spoiler was a mistake or a stroke of genius. And if HYB was divided, what about the members? Would they have known the promotional plan? Would Jimin breaking rank, even unintentionally, affect internal discussions? Would Jungkook, always deeply emotional and fiercely loyal, have had feelings about it? And so the question lingers. Did Jungkook's missing point reflect something deeper? Professional tension, emotional concern, or unspoken disagreement? No one knows. But the theories keep rising. Some analysts argue Jungkook was subtly sending a message about timing, structure, discipline. Others believe he was simply teasing, showing affection the way old friends do, through honesty. Then there are the darker interpretations. The possibility that Jimin's reveal disrupted an internal plan and Jungkook, caught between loyalty and uncertainty, expressed it in the only safe outlet he had, the numeric score he was asked to give. But the speculation didn't stop there. The 94 became a symbol, a code, a puzzle piece that fans were desperate to solve. Did it reference a private joke? A past moment? A mild disagreement neither has discussed yet? For a fandom trained to read nuance from years of close observation, this wasn't just a number. It was a message wrapped in mystery, and Jungkook knew exactly how carefully his words would be dissected. And just as the internet began spiraling deeper into analysis, Jimmy Fallon re-entered the frame like the dramatic showman he is. According to whispers, Fallon personally reached out to Jimin after the Tokyo bombshell. Some insiders say it was all jokes and charm. Others say it was genuinely emotional. But when the news broke that Fallon had privately contacted Jimin, ARMY seized on one question. Did Jungkook know? Could the private calls, media pressure, and sudden spotlight have influenced his unexpected honesty? Because here is where the drama intertwines. Jimin's album reveal didn't just shake US networks. It shook the industry. It reshaped the comeback narrative. It forced HYB to reconsider their entire promotional plan. And Jungkook, who has always been the member most protective of group unity and strategy, might have felt the effects more than anyone else. Was the 94 a playful tease? Or a quiet indication that even inside BTS, the comeback chaos has touched their dynamics? The more the public analyzes, the more the emotional stakes rise. Because if Jungkook's score was truly innocent, why does it feel so loaded? Why did he emphasize the flaw? Why did he seem so hesitant? Why did Jimin look momentarily surprised? And why, in a year where every word from BTS has world-shaking consequences, does this moment feel different? And the biggest question of all, what exactly is the little thing Jungkook didn't like? He didn't label it. He didn't explain it. He didn't elaborate. He just dropped a number, 94, and let the world drown in questions. But this mystery score has now become the emotional heartbeat of the fandom's current chaos. Because if Jimin's spoiler disrupted the global media machine, Jungkook's rating has disrupted something far more delicate: the perception of the unshakable, unbreakable dynamic that fans have adored for a decade. Are they fine? Is everything normal? Or is the 94 the first clue that there is a deeper, more complex story brewing behind the scenes, one we are not yet meant to understand? This is not the end of the article. This is only the opening storm. The storm around Jungkook's 94 did not fade as the hours passed. In fact, the more fans tried to calm themselves, the more the moment replayed in their minds like an unsolved riddle. Why would the most famously gentle evaluator in BTS lift his eyes, smile a little too carefully, and say a number that landed not at 100, not at 95, but at 94, a score that feels deliberate, symbolic, almost calculated in its quiet restraint? Why would he choose the one moment, out of thousands of public interactions across their career, to withhold just 1 point from the person he calls his anchor, his brother, his hyung? What made it more unsettling was Jungkook's expression. Not unhappy, not mocking, but contemplative, almost conflicted. A softness in the eyes mixed with a hesitation no one expected. The kind of expression that appears when someone is trying to say the truth without hurting the person they care about. And when he added, in a voice too calm to be casual, "There's just one small thing I didn't like," the fandom felt the collective jolt of a mystery forming in real time. Was he referring to the Tokyo reveal? Was he hinting at a private disagreement? Was he playfully teasing Jimin over something insignificant but meaningful to them? Or was this the first visible ripple of a deeper internal dynamic that the world has never been allowed to see? Theories spread faster than wildfire. Some fans insisted that Jungkook must have been referencing a tiny detail, maybe a styling choice, a moment of spontaneity, a backstage habit only the members know. But others felt the weight of something more emotional beneath the surface. Something that aligns eerily well with the global chaos Jimin accidentally triggered when he blurted out those 7 explosive words in Tokyo: "There's a new BTS album coming." Because from the moment that sentence escaped Jimin's mouth, the entire entertainment world shifted. Fallon panicked. HYB scrambled. Networks fought. Fans rejoiced. But what about the members? What about the group dynamic that has always been their greatest strength? For the first time, it wasn't RM delivering the message. It wasn't an official Weverse post. It wasn't a carefully timed campaign. It was Jimin, speaking from his heart, letting excitement overshadow protocol. And that small, genuine moment shook an entire industry to its knees. So the question rises again. Did Jungkook feel the aftershocks personally? Because while the world laughed at Fallon's exaggerated reaction and marveled at the media frenzy, the consequences behind closed doors were real. HYB executives reportedly held emergency meetings. American networks desperately called for clarification. Staffers on 3 continents worked overtime to prepare statements, yet none were released. And through all of this, one unavoidable truth hung in the air. The first official BTS comeback hint came from Jimin alone. Unfiltered, unplanned, and unmistakably powerful, it is no secret that Jungkook has always cherished unity, coordination, and harmony. He is the member who studies the details, who watches every angle of a performance, who pushes himself to perfection because he knows how much the group depends on complete synchrony. For Jungkook, even a tiny deviation in choreography or timing can feel monumental. So how would he react internally to a deviation in communication, especially one that impacts the comeback narrative of the biggest boy band on Earth? Some fans argue that the 94 was Jungkook's way of expressing mild frustration in a controlled, gentle manner. Not a punishment, not criticism, but honesty. Honesty that acknowledges Jimin's brilliance while still hinting, ever so subtly, that something small could have gone differently. Others insist that Jungkook's score was not about frustration at all, but affection, because the members often express closeness not through perfect praise, but through truthful teasing. The kind of teasing that grows out of 10 years of shared stages, shared fears, shared triumphs. The kind of teasing that says, I know you better than anyone else, so I'll be real with you even when the world expects perfection. But if it was playful, why did Jimin look momentarily taken aback, eyebrows lifting in brief surprise before that familiar smile returned? Why did the room suddenly feel thick with unspoken meaning? Why did fans across the world gasp at the exact same second, as if detecting a shift too subtle for words but too powerful to ignore? And so the number 94 is no longer just a score. It is a symbol of the delicate balance between honesty and harmony within a group the world believes is unbreakable. Meanwhile, the drama outside the group refuses to calm. Jimmy Fallon's reported private call to Jimin has only made things more complicated. Whispers from production insiders claim Fallon was more emotional than the public would ever imagine. This wasn't just about television rivalry. It was about history, about connection, about the profound bond that BTS built with the Tonight Show stage, one performance at a time. What did Fallon say? Did he gently scold Jimin? Did he beg for exclusivity? Did he remind him of the trust they've shared across years of appearances that broke ratings records and shaped American perception of the group? Or did he speak from a place of pure sincerity, telling Jimin how deeply his words affect the global media climate? No one knows. But the call itself created ripples, ones that likely reached the other members, including Jungkook. Could this have influenced his mindset during the rating moment? Could he have been holding feelings he didn't express fully? Could the trio of events, Jimin's reveal, Fallon's reaction, and the late-night media war, have subtly impacted the way Jungkook viewed Jimin's recent actions? This is not to imply conflict. BTS is built on a foundation of brotherhood. But even brothers experience moments of complexity, moments where emotions layer themselves into expressions too subtle for outsiders to decode. And fans, who have spent years watching every shift in energy between the members, know that even the smallest gesture can carry immense meaning. That is what makes the 94 so haunting, because if it were nothing, it wouldn't feel like something. If it were playful, it wouldn't have created this lingering ache of curiosity. If it were purely affectionate, it wouldn't be keeping ARMY awake at night wondering whether Jungkook was hinting at something the world is not yet meant to understand. Which leads to an even deeper question. Is this the first sign that the 2026 BTS comeback will be more emotionally complex than anyone expected? Their return, after military service, was always going to be massive. But now, with media fights, intercontinental chaos, unexpected spoilers, private calls, and one mysterious missing point. The comeback narrative is no longer just about music. It is about relationships, timing, internal dynamics, global territory, emotional landscapes shaped by years apart, and a new world waiting for them. And at the center of this swirling global storm stands Jungkook and Jimin, the artistic soul and emotional heartbeat of the group, connected as always, yet separated by a number that refuses to be ignored.